All right, so with update 79, we added this awesome new feature called AutoTraining. It goes along with importing and exporting your builds. So I have a level 2 Cyber Knight here. It's brand new Cyber Knight. And I want to show you how some of the ideas behind AutoTraining and how you can use it to share builds between your different save games, make your training more efficient, and to build out sort of end game builds that you can just use instead of having to train your characters individually every time that you play the game. If you want to start a new squad, you don't have to kind of go back through that and agonize over the exact ordering of nodes. So a build, when we say auto training a build is a set of job class nodes in specific order. So this starting build for Cyber Knight starts with Cyber Knights as a class, then look ahead, security scramble, pure compute advantage, and then these upgrade nodes are also part of the build. So I have some additional, uh, as a starting character, I have another 4 points here. So I'm going to train into interference, spike, and also up and a downer. So that's possibly how I want to start out this guy. I've got now a great debuff to use to knock out Overwatch, and I've also got downer, and that's great. So you can see that my build then is upgraded to include that and has all of these exact examples. And I can export this and say, hey, here's, I can copy it out to the clipboard and share it, social, Discord, post it up as part of my guide. Like, this is how you should start your Cyber Knight. And that becomes really easy. So once I've exported, now if I paste it back in, so that loads the build into the class. So once a class has a build loaded, you'll see an auto train build button will appear here. Up until the point you have a build imported or loaded from your library, this button is not around. So now I can respec this character. I have nothing trained. And if I go to auto train, the build is still loaded. So if I go to auto train, it's just going to look at that build and see what it can do based on how many skill points you have, what cyberware you need, what class you are, all sorts of things. So I can just then either train one at a time. So I can just click through and be like, oh, I like the first choices. Those are great. I could train all. That gives me the whole build. Cool. I can I can just respec that. I go back into my auto train. It still has the build. I could say, okay, cool. I'm going to take the first 3 choices here. And then, you know what? Actually, Andrew's doing it wrong. I like to play a little more defensively. I'm going to go into centering. And then I'm going to go back and look and say, okay, well, now that I have centering, what would if I go back to my build spec and then continue the build I'm building, what will I do? So this allows you to use a build spec. At any point that you want to deviate from that build spec, take a break from it, and do your own thing. That's very easy. So it's super flexible for you to pick, use the build spec. In fact, I can then clear the build spec and be like, that build spec's okay, but really what I want is this other Insta-Knight build spec that I've loaded, I've saved it in my class library. This is the one that I think I actually would like to use. So I'm going to load insta-build, and now I have a different build loaded into my build spec. And if I click on that, it's going to train a different set of nodes. So this will do pre-compute advantage, look ahead, reaction, and will. And there are additional nodes in there that I can't get to, which is good because you're going to have some of these build specs will be very large, like a level 20 knight, and you can come back from a mission. You got 2 new level points to spend, and you just come in and auto train and see what you would do in your build. And do you want to follow the build, or do you want to go off and do your own thing with those 2 points? So let's take a look at this insta. I'm just going to redo by hand what a starting knight would look like. So this is roughly a starting knight. So I have this really nice build that I have been using recently during testing for this called Insta Knight, and it is my first moves for a knight. It's a short auto build. There isn't a lot in it. So auto training build. So I load it up. I click auto train. It's going to train up this path and take tactical surge. The first action that I personally like to take with all my knights in all my games. So when I start a new game, I can come in, I just grab insta build, my insta knight thing, I train all, I'm set. I I now have Tactical Surge. I've spent all my points and I'm ready to go play again. So I don't have to do any of the clicking. I just load that up. Now it's a short build, right? So I've already done everything in it. And now I can just clear it, get rid of it. The auto train button goes away. I can come back in and say, you know what, after I do that, then I often like to load my left side heavy level 20 knight. So I've got a level 20 knight all the way to level 20. He is my kind of perfect build. I've tweaked it, played with it a bunch of times. It's exactly the ordering I like. And he's very left side heavy. So he's not, he in fact isn't going to get anything on the right side. So I'm going to load that. And I can respec here and auto train up. So I get a warning that like this is based on leveling points, I'm not going to be able to go any farther than this. So I can train all, and you see it's pretty much very similar to the insta build. And then as I go off and I complete a mission, when I come back, I'm just going to click auto train and follow that build because I know that it's going to get me interference spike, and then it's going to come up and get head for rewind. So those are it'll get interference spike, and then it's going to travel up here and get rewind as soon as I have that next talent point, get some of the upgrades I want, and sort of really carefully planned out my 20 levels. And I don't want to have to kind of remember the exact order every time. So now any game, right, this library is shared between all my save games. So anytime I want to go to that build, I can grab that character. And I can save a library here of the 6 or 7 knight builds that I really love, or 6 or 7 snipers or soldiers, or even multi-classing. So I can go out and I'll grab my Vanguard, and I will train her. So here she has the default Vanguard build. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to show you a negative case. If I try to I load up my Insta-Knights build and I try to auto-train, you see that you cannot proceed because you have a build that has an inaccessible class, right? Nobody else can be the Cyber Knight, so that's out. And then if I go over to somebody like Soldier, and in Soldier, I load the starting Vanguard, and I auto-train, you'll see that for auto-training, you have to get your own cyber surgery. That costs money. You have to pick your right doctor. You're going to be delayed for a while. You're going to be like, on the recovery bench for a bit. So if an auto-training build hits a point where you need to get cyberware to continue, it won't do it for you. That's a non-auto action. You need to take care of that yourself. You go get yourself spliced. Come back when that's done, and we can talk more about auto-training. So in the case of cyberware, you need to deal with it, but once you have the cyberware, it'll happily proceed for you. So let's look at my Vanguard. I need silence, and I gotta have lure, and I gotta have jam kit. But after that, then I would like to go off and multi-class. So I'm gonna grab a starting cyber sword. Right now I've imported the starting cyber sword build. Cyber sword doesn't require cyberware, so by auto training, I can just say that I'm going to train the cyber sword class. I'm going to get slash slot and deflection field, both of which are okay, fit, and the next node after that is going to require a 6th talent, right? It's going to be, so I can go over here. We've moved cyber sword, the multi-classing thing over here, so it'll be conduit edge. This is what the auto training is going to require me to. So I'm sort of kind of hung up on that until I get a 6th talent limit. And if I don't like it though, I can clear it. But it's helped me auto train or multi-class. So now I have the Vanguard Cyber Sword, and if that's your perfect build for a level 20 character, you can combine and build out in any order you want. The perfect build. First I get this, and then I go up to Whisper Kill, and then I'm off to Shielded Rush. But before I get all the way to Shielded Rush, I'd like to go back into Vanguard, and I always get Blend, and I always get Body Bag, etc. So, and in the middle of that, maybe you have a Cyber Sword who does 10 levels of Cyber Sword, and then it's time for their Vanguard, and the auto build will stop you. Auto train will stop you and just ask you to go get your Vanguard surgery before you come back and continue your build. So this is really powerful. Gives you the ability to do like little stint auto training, like just a starter kit, a mid-level kit. Like you can load one build and do some of it, and then load another build and do some of it, or you can have that like perfected guide built 20 levels that it's really nice and in the exact order it should be done, and you can just follow that the whole time, one-click training every time you come back, and save yourselves tons of time And once you've kind of mentally figured it out once and planned it, you don't have to do it again. You just save it to your library of builds. Awesome, guys. I hope you love the feature. Check it out. Tell us how you're using it. And again, we're looking at kind of some improvements to this UI and considering the idea of putting some of these builds into characters that is default, or making them very easily accessible for new players and starting players, just to have an auto train option right out of the gate, so that you don't even have to stress right away. If you just want to follow a good build, we've got one for you to run with. Okay, love it. Enjoy 79. Cheers.